Are you inadvertently destroying your own kidneys with the very medications meant to save your life every single day? Let's look directly at the truth. 2 pills, 4 pills, or even 6 pills sitting in the palm of your hand right now. Now let me ask a question that your primary physician likely hasn't had the time to discuss during those rushed appointments. Do you truly understand what those chemical compounds are silently doing to your kidneys' survival? I am Dr. Mattheus. After over 20 years as a surgeon here in the States, I am making this video because of a devastating pattern I see repeated in my patients. This kidney damage doesn't stem from an incurable disease or a stroke of bad luck. It comes directly from the medications themselves. These are pills you have taken faithfully, placing your complete trust in them for years. In today's lecture, I will expose 5 specific medications that the latest research proves can jeopardize your kidneys after age 60, and I will equip you with 3 strategic solutions to bring to your very next appointment. Furthermore, if you stay until the end of the video, I will reveal a secret regarding a hydration protocol that protects your kidneys during medical procedures, something even many doctors often overlook. However, I need you to grasp this before we dive into the list. If I simply read off 5 drug names, that information remains virtually useless. Real protection comes from understanding why a post-60 kidney reacts to medication in a fundamentally different way than a younger body. Once you master this philosophy, you will hold the power to advocate for yourself in front of your doctor. Right now, leave a comment below with your age and the number of medications you are currently maintaining. Your transparency is the first step on the journey to preserving your life. 1. The story of Martha, 67 years old. To begin, I want to introduce you to Martha. At 67, she is a retired elementary school teacher from Vermont. With over 3 decades of dedication in the classroom, she never took a single sick day. Martha is the quintessential American woman, always prioritizing her family and community over herself. When the curtain of her career closed, she looked forward to peaceful years in her garden and with her small grandchildren. However, chronic arthritis began writing a different script. The aching pain in her hips and knees made it impossible to stay still, and the solution she received was ibuprofen to extinguish the painful flare-ups. Initially, she took it occasionally, but as the pain became a daily shadow, the pill became a constant companion because it allowed her to stay active and fulfill her role as a grandmother. Simultaneously, Martha had also maintained her lisinopril for blood pressure over the last 5 years, never missing a dose. She was the model of a compliant patient. Yet, after 8 months of this combined routine, her body began emitting unusual signals: swollen ankles, profound exhaustion that sleep could not fix, and a foggy mind that struggled to focus. She mistook these for the footprints of time and aging, but a routine blood test overturned all assumptions. Her doctor announced that her blood creatinine levels had spiked, indicating her kidney filtration system was in critical condition. Sitting stunned in her Vermont kitchen, Martha could not understand where she had gone wrong when she had followed every medical instruction. Her nephrologist explained that daily ibuprofen use had constricted the microvessels feeding her kidneys. When paired with lisinopril, which dilates vessels to lower pressure, the interaction created what we call a double hit. This is a toxic synergy that severely reduces blood flow through the kidneys, especially dangerous for adults over 60. Martha's words haunt me. "I did exactly as I was told. How could this happen?" The doctor's response is the guiding light for you. Being a compliant patient and being an informed patient are 2 completely different concepts, and you need both to survive. Although her kidney function stabilized after the medication shift, some damage remained permanent. I am making this video because of the specialist's final remark to her. If we had identified this just 6 months earlier, we wouldn't be facing such a grim reality today. 2. How kidneys age and the gap in drug safety. So what truly happened within Sarah's biological system, and why is this insight a lifesaver for you? There is a harsh reality that a vast majority of the senior community in the United States has never been informed about. Starting at the milestone of age 40, your kidney filtration efficiency, known as the GFR, naturally declines by an average of 1% every single year. This is the simple law of time. By the time you reach age 65, physiologically, most of us have already surrendered about 25% to 30% of our peak filtering capacity. Yet the danger lies in the body's silent response. No sharp pains, no clear clinical symptoms, leading you to falsely believe everything is functioning perfectly, a reality long warned about by the National Kidney Foundation. Your kidneys are engineered with a massive biological reserve, but this resource is not infinite. This is the most crucial link you must remember. Pharmaceuticals labeled as safe when you were 45 were not necessarily validated on a filtration system that has already lost a quarter of its power. Numerous reports in JAMA Internal Medicine have highlighted this gap. Toxins that are cleared smoothly in a younger body can accumulate and cause extensive damage in an aging one. Imagine your kidney function as a water tank. In your youth, the tank is overflowing and full of energy. As years pass, the tank's volume gradually shrinks, not because of a malfunction, but because that is nature's design. When you introduce medication, you are essentially adding pressure to the tank's walls. With a full tank, that pressure is negligible. But when the capacity is only at 70%, that same pressure causes severe structural cracks. The danger reaches its peak during a phenomenon we in the medical field call the triple whammy. This is a lethal combination of, first, an NSAID anti-inflammatory like ibuprofen, second, an ACE or ARB blood pressure medication, and third, a diuretic. Each pill may have its own legitimate therapeutic mission, but when they converge, they create a biological storm that paralyzes the kidney's self-regulating ability, causing acute kidney injury, as documented in the New England Journal of Medicine. This is the reality surrounding millions of Americans over 60 who often receive overlapping prescriptions from different doctors, specialists who frequently see only a fragment rather than the entire health portrait of the patient. You must understand that the kidney is a silent organ. All deterioration occurs in silence until the function is down to only 40% or 50%. By the time you start feeling that something is wrong, the devastation has often gone too far. That is why proactively discussing your medication list with your physician is an urgent mandate. Please share your situation in the comments and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss the vital solutions in the next part of this video. 3. Cautionary tales from Robert, Nancy, and Dorothy. Now allow me to share 3 clinical cases with you, as these 5 pharmaceuticals impact every body along entirely different trajectories. I want you to see yourselves or your loved ones in these life fragments to draw survival lessons for your own journey. Robert, 71, was a skilled electrician retired in Texas. For 6 consecutive years, he maintained the use of omeprazole Prilosec to extinguish uncomfortable acid reflux. The automatic prescription renewal mechanism caused both him and the medical system to forget about risk management. What Robert was never warned about is that data in the Journal of the American Society of Nephrology has proven a close link between prolonged PPI use and acute interstitial nephritis. His GFR filtration index declined silently over the years without any warning pain. After I identified the cause and discontinued the medication, his kidney function gradually recovered. His words to his daughter afterwards stayed with me. I assumed a renewed prescription meant it was safe forever, not realizing that safety for a few weeks and safety for 6 years are 2 completely different concepts. Next is Nancy, 68, a former office manager in Florida. She maintained the habit of taking Aleve naproxen every morning to soothe her shoulder arthritis. She never considered this a medication that needed to be reported to her physician due to the misconception that over-the-counter drugs available anywhere are harmless. However, FDA warning labels regarding kidney failure risks for NSAIDs when used daily are easily overlooked amidst chronic pain. Fortunately, Nancy's condition was detected through routine blood work. When I asked about her medication habits, she only mentioned it as a minor detail. Only after stopping the pill and switching to topical diclofenac gel was her kidney filtration truly liberated and stabilized. Finally, there is the case of Dorothy, 63. Just beginning to enjoy her early retirement, she was simultaneously seeing 3 different specialists, a cardiologist, a primary care physician, and an orthopedic surgeon. Each prescribed a separate medication without knowing about the existence of the others. She was taking a diuretic, an ACE inhibitor, and naproxen. This combination landed her in the emergency room with exhaustion, confusion, and anuria, a classic presentation of the triple whammy. Her kidneys had gone into an acute strike. After a comprehensive medication review by a geriatrician, her health recovered. She realized that having multiple specialists without one person seeing the entire portrait was a dangerous medical gap. This gap can be entirely closed if you take proactive control. Please leave your thoughts in the comments right now. Is any of these situations reflecting your own story? Write "This is me" or share the name of the story you wish to send to your most cherished loved one. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell to continue this journey of protecting your clarity with me. 4. 5 medications to monitor closely for your kidney health. Now, let us enter the core of the matter with 5 specific medications. They are right here. You have been truly patient in understanding the context, and now is the time to turn that patience into life-preserving value. Number 1 is the NSAID class, including ibuprofen and naproxen, or brand names you often see in American medicine cabinets like Advil, Motrin, or Aleve. For short-term use in young, healthy individuals, they are largely appropriate. However, for those of you over 60, taking them regularly, daily, or near daily causes the risk profile to change astonishingly. Are you currently using any of these 5 medications? Please comment from 1 to 5 based on your usage. The mechanism here is that NSAIDs block prostaglandins, which are chemical messengers responsible for keeping the blood vessels feeding your kidneys open and relaxed. When these vessels are constricted due to the drug's effect, the precious blood flow to the kidneys drops significantly. A younger body has an excess capacity to compensate, but for a 68-year-old already at 70% of natural kidney capacity, this sustained constriction is a direct driver of tissue damage. This risk multiplies when you are even mildly dehydrated, when you are ill, or when you are also maintaining blood pressure medications. The American Journal of Kidney Diseases has published extensive research on this toxic relationship. Number 2, the proton pump inhibitors, or PPIs, names like omeprazole, pantoprazole, esomeprazole, or brands Prilosec, Protonix, Nexium are ubiquitous in the U.S. Short-term use is generally medically appropriate. My deep concern lies in long-term use, spanning months to years, which has become a widespread reality because these drugs are highly effective at stopping stomach pain, and refills often happen automatically without review. Research in the Journal of the American Society of Nephrology has linked chronic PPI use to a dangerous condition called acute interstitial nephritis, while significantly increasing the risk of progressing to chronic kidney disease. If you have been on a PPI for more than a year, this deserves a serious and specific conversation with your doctor. The goal is not to stop abruptly, but to scientifically reevaluate whether it is still necessary for your body. Number 3, certain antibiotics, specifically the aminoglycosides group like gentamicin, tobramycin, and the potent antibiotic vancomycin. These are primarily used in clinical inpatient settings. I include them because many people over 60 who have been hospitalized in the States may have received these intravenously without knowing it. They possess direct nephrotoxic properties, and for those with baseline kidney function already declined by age, the risk is significantly higher. If you have been hospitalized and received IV antibiotics in recent years, it is entirely reasonable and fair to ask your doctor what you were given and whether your kidney function was closely monitored throughout that process. Number 4 is lithium. It is highly effective for certain long-term mood disorders and has been used stably by many for decades. However, lithium has an extremely narrow therapeutic window. This means the margin between a helpful dose and a harmful one is much smaller than most common medications. Long-term use is closely associated with chronic tubulointerstitial nephritis, a form of gradual silent kidney tissue damage that develops without any painful symptoms. The intervention here is not necessarily stopping the drug entirely, but rather a consistent monitoring of blood levels and regular, disciplined kidney function tests. If you or a loved one are on long-term lithium, ask your doctor specifically, is kidney function being checked regularly, and how often? Number 5, contrast agents used in CT scans and imaging procedures. If you have ever had a CT scan with contrast, you received an iodinated dye injected intravenously. For most people, it passes through the body without major issues. However, for adults over 60 with reduced kidney function, which is the reality for most of us, these contrast agents can cause contrast-induced nephropathy, creating extreme stress on the kidneys during the filtration process. This risk is entirely manageable and preventable if we know in advance. Prehydration protocols and low osmolar contrast alternatives exist in the American healthcare system, but they are only applied if your kidney status is flagged before the procedure begins. Therefore, whenever you are scheduled for contrast imaging, proactively tell the radiology team your GFR number and ask directly, "Given my current kidney function, what specific precautions will you take?" 5. 3 practical solutions to safeguard your kidneys. First, you must hold your GFR number in your own hands. This is the most accurate biological metric of your kidney's filtration efficiency, obtained through standard blood tests in the US. Once you cross the age of 60, checking this number at every annual visit is a vital mandate. A score above 60 generally indicates stability, but a range of 45 to 59 signals a mild decline requiring closer supervision. Most importantly, if your result is below 45, an immediate in-depth dialogue with a nephrologist is required. I advise you to record your 3 most recent GFR results in your phone or on a wallet card. This is the ID card for your internal health. If you are unaware of it, call your clinic today to retrieve this information from your latest records. Second, perform a comprehensive medication review. Before your next appointment, gather all prescriptions, over-the-counter drugs, supplements, and vitamins into one bag. Place it before your physician and ask 2 strategic questions. Which of these are straining my kidneys? And is this combination truly safe for my current age? And am I on the minimum effective dose? If you are being treated by multiple specialists, insist that your primary care physician acts as the medication quarterback, responsible for overseeing the entire pharmacological portrait. Do not wait for them to volunteer. You must proactively claim this right. Third, seek humane alternatives for pain management. Instead of overusing oral anti-inflammatories, which are the nemesis of kidney health, applying topical diclofenac gel allows the active ingredient to penetrate the joint directly without systemic pressure on the kidneys. Acetaminophen at controlled dosages is also a wiser choice for arthritis. If you are using PPIs for your stomach, discuss switching to H2 blockers like famotidine if appropriate. In diagnostic procedures, demand hydration protocols or alternative contrast agents. Finally, always stay well hydrated, as dehydration will concentrate drug toxicity and ruthlessly ravage your kidneys during heat waves or illness. 6. In-depth Q&A and medical scenarios. Now, let me untie the knots in your mind using my practical experience in American clinics. The first question I often receive is, how can I discuss this without offending my doctor? I suggest using a consultative tone. I have been researching how aging affects the kidney's ability to process medications and would greatly value your professional analysis of my specific case. You are honoring their expertise rather than criticizing, and I believe a dedicated physician will truly welcome such thoroughness. The second question, I have been on these meds for years and feel perfectly fine. Do I really need to worry? You must grasp a crucial philosophy. Feeling fine does not mean your kidney tissues are fine. Early-stage kidney decline is like a silent thief. It causes no pain or obvious clinical symptoms. Only the GFR test can provide a definitive answer based on scientific evidence. Knowing the truth early will grant you the time and options to preserve your body's vitality. The third question, what if my doctor dismisses my request? Remember, you are the master of your own body. You have the right to request a standard blood test to know your filtration number. If denied without a valid reason, ask them to document the refusal in your medical records or seek a second opinion from another specialist. Advocating for your health is never an overreaction. It is a necessary responsibility toward your own life. The final question, are supplements absolutely safe? The short answer is no. In the US, supplements are not regulated as strictly as drugs. High-dose vitamin C or herbal products with unclear origins can cause irreversible kidney tissue damage. Even over-supplementing with protein powders puts an excessive burden on aging kidneys. Therefore, treat supplements as part of your medication regimen and consult a specialist before introducing them to your system. A message of hope from Sarah and closing thoughts by Dr. Mattheus. Allow me to return to Sarah's journey one last time. About a year after her kidney function had stabilized, Sarah did something extraordinary. She didn't just stop at physical healing, she proactively joined a chronic kidney disease support group right here in the States. Her motivation wasn't driven by the fear of her condition worsening, but by a deep desire to truly master her own health destiny. She learned to remember her GFR number like a loved one's phone number, always brought a complete medication list to every appointment, and requested that her primary care physician conduct a comprehensive review twice a year. The most beautiful outcome was the ripple effect her actions created. As she shared her story with her daughter began asking similar critical questions about the medications she was taking. This is the true power of an informed patient. You are not just improving your own outcomes, you are shifting the health conversations within your family and the community around you. Sarah once shared a thought with me that I often reflect upon. I was a straight A student my entire life, and then I realized I had never actually studied the most important subject of all, my own health. That realization is exactly why I create these videos for you. Now, you are fully aware of the 5 medications with the potential to harm kidneys after age 60. You understand why aging kidneys are uniquely vulnerable to chemical impacts. You hold 3 specific solutions for your next appointment. Understand the magnitude of the GFR number, and most importantly, you know how to advocate for yourself with your physician. My father always taught me that the most valuable thing a patient can do is show up at the clinic armed with information. Today, you have done exactly that. To turn this knowledge into action, I want you to leave a comment with one of 3 things. Write "checking my GFR" if you intend to request that test. Write "talking to my doctor" if you are planning a medication review. Or write "sharing with someone I love." If a specific face came to your mind during this session, please share this information with them. This isn't about supporting my channel, it's because that person deserves this knowledge before something goes wrong, not after. If you haven't joined me yet, hit subscribe and the bell icon now to receive research-backed content designed specifically for the over 60 community, those who value their health deeply. Save this video as a reference for your future visits. Your presence until the very end proves your genuine care for yourself and your loved ones. I am Dr. Mattheus, and this is Kidney Health 365. I will see you in our next consultation.